Quick one, what's bigger, gaming or movies? The highest grossing film, Avatar, made $2.9 billion. GTA 5, one of many successful video games, made 3 times more, $8.5 billion.
Bullshit! Oh, I like it, denial!
In fact, gaming is now 5 times bigger than movies. Want to know how they do it? In the next 15 minutes, we'll unpack how global video game companies rake in huge profits by entertaining 40% of the world's population, and why big players like Saudi Arabia and BlackRock are flocking to invest in the industry.
Okay, let's go.
Video games are a massive money spinner in the entertainment industry. A report by SuperData Research estimated the global gaming market at $187 billion in 2023. This revenue includes console games, PC games, mobile games, and esports. For perspective, this is more than the combined revenue of the film and music industries in the same period, and it's set to grow even more. Predictions suggest that by the end of the decade, the gaming industry will double in size, with revenue surpassing $300 billion. Currently, there are 3.2 billion gamers worldwide. That's equivalent to 3 Chinas, or 10 times the size of the US. And as technology advances and platforms become more affordable, more players join each year. Before we look at how different genres make vast profits, let's explore when and how people realized that video games could be a goldmine. The diverse genres and plots rivaling Hollywood blockbusters started with this. Wrong tape. This simple, pixelated ping-pong simulation was the first commercially successful video game. It marked the beginning of the video game industry. Atari released Pong in the early 1970s, and it quickly gained popularity across the states. Spread is an exaggeration. Each game had its own physical device, a large arcade machine, which was costly to transport. However, arcade games birthed a successful business model still used today. The idea of exchanging real coins for virtual time, or life, was the world's first microtransaction in video games. Despite the costs associated with producing and operating arcade machines, creators of successful games became billionaires. Space Invaders by Taito, where players had to shoot down alien invaders, earned $2.7 billion by 1982. Accounting for inflation, the company's profit today would be $6.8 billion. And the iconic Pac-Man from Namco made over $3.5 billion by 1990, or over $8 billion in today's money. As home video consoles became popular, users could have multiple games on a single device. The most popular console of that time was the Atari 2600, with over 30 million devices sold during its 15-year lifespan. Game developers started profiting from selling physical copies of game cartridges to console owners. The games had their own marketing campaigns and ads.
Just last night, I was lost in the jungle with Pitfall Harry.
The big sellers were games like Pac-Man, which sold 8 million copies, Space Invaders with 6 million, and Donkey Kong with 4 million. Nowadays, the core idea of a gaming business has remained the same since the era of arcade machines and cartridges. Companies sold platforms and then made significant money from selling various games for those platforms. However, the shift from physical to digital media and offline to online has made business models more intricate and flexible, and way more profitable. Always online multiplayer, premium single player, AA and AAA, DLC, free-to-play, live service. All this gaming jargon can be confusing for someone looking into video game monetization, but once we simplify it for you, you'll see it's much more straightforward. So, let's organize it. There are only 2 main business models in the video game industry. The first model is called premium, or buy-to-play. This is the traditional way games make money through physical or digital sales of a single unit. A studio creates a game and sells it as a complete package to a consumer. One payment grants you access. No need for additional purchases to enjoy the full gaming experience. You get all levels, characters, and features from the start. Today's premium setup reflects the old school way game publishers made money, but instead of buying cartridges or CDs in the store, players now make an instant purchase from the comfort of their home via one of several major digital stores, depending on the platform. You might be surprised to find out that most digital stores charge a hefty 30% commission on every in-app transaction. A wise man said, if you want to make millions, make a game. But if you aim for billions, build a marketplace. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's continue with games. A good example of the premium business model is the famous franchise, Grand Theft Auto by Rockstar. It's Part 5, the latest blockbuster entry in Rockstar's long-running series of open-world crime games, became the first entertainment property to gross $1 billion in sales within 24 hours. Sometimes premium games are used to enhance the prestige of the platforms on which they are released. For example, Sony acquired the video game developer Naughty Dog to release the studio's hits exclusively on PlayStation. As a result, one of the most successful games, The Last of Us, was released only on Sony's console. Games sold under the premium model are primarily high-budget blockbusters. There's a separate term for them, AAA. Creating them can take years and often hundreds of millions of dollars. Therefore, for developers to not only recoup their costs, but also make substantial profits, they needed a way to continue generating income after selling the base version. The solution became releasing various expansions, upgrades, and additional features in the form of downloadable content, or DLC. Expansions can enhance the original game with fresh storylines, features, or power-ups. For example, The Sims 4 has 15 expansion packs, and Fallout 4 has 6. These examples show that a great game can never have too much content. By the way, downloadable content is not always secondary. Some video game expansions even surpass the original. For instance, after the release of Artorias of the Abyss, gamers set aside the main version of Dark Souls. It's widely agreed that the expansion made the game complete and much more captivating.
I can't leave.
Other similar examples include expansions for games like Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher 3, which in some form made the initially purchased games longer and allowed players to enjoy new quests. Continuous updates in the modern era can also help to smooth a rough launch. Case in point, Cyberpunk 2077, a highly anticipated adaptation of a board game by a Polish developer, CD Projekt. While it made significant initial sales, it also faced criticism for poor performance and middling quality after the release.
Yeah.
This fact halved the stock price of CD Projekt. Only through further patches and free DLC did the company manage to win back the loyalty of the players and, consequently, the investors. So sometimes, DLC works as a protection tool for companies who strive to release the game by the promised date, but fail to finalize the game to a required AAA standard. By the way, the game has now topped 25 million sales after continual updates and an impressive expansion. While it's true that the premium version of the game is a complete product, it used to be like that. Nowadays, even premium games seem to be under constant development. Regular post-launch updates can drastically change the game. The premium game model is quite simple and has been used for decades. But why do so many companies produce free games? What is their secret to making big bucks? The second business model in gaming, termed a live service or free-to-play, is intriguing. Though free, these games have a knack for turning a handsome profit. With a free-to-play game, you can download and play it for free. However, within the game, items like power-ups, additional levels, characters, or in-game currency can be purchased. For years, the live service model has been a mobile gaming industry standard. Due to intense competition, publishers offer games for free to attract users. The main advantage here is eliminating the barrier to entry, thus allowing players to easily join without upfront cost. Players can choose to buy additional features, enhancing their gaming experience or providing advantages. Now, let's show the potency of this model. Look at the top 3 games and their cash flow from January to April 2024. Other notable examples include Honor of Kings, PUBG Mobile, and Monopoly Go. Impressive, right? Purchasing virtual goods through in-app transactions is akin to using coins for extra lives or time in the arcade era. Nowadays, big game developers use advanced AI tools to personalize the player experience and balance in-game spending with the right rewards. This might include limited-time offers, discounts, bundles, or exclusive items. It's crucial for developers to strike a balance between offering free content to attract players and providing enticing paid content to generate revenue. Overemphasis on monetization can lead to a negative player experience, while too little focus can result in insufficient revenue. The service model emphasizes long-term player retention and monetization over one-time purchases. By consistently offering new content, challenges, and engaging experiences, developers aim to keep players invested in the game over a longer period, leading to sustained revenue generation. For instance, one of GDEV Studios, Nexters Global, has been operating with its Hero Wars and the RPG role-playing game genre since 2014. In 2023, the game made over $130 million of revenue on mobile alone. To achieve such results, the studio needs to produce thousands of playable levels, tens of new heroes, and millions of features to polish the game experience to a flawless level of detail. It's worth mentioning that often free-to-play games use in-game advertising as an additional revenue stream. The model is simple and a win-win. The player watches an ad, for example, of another game, and then either receives a bonus or simply continues to play the game for free. The advertiser pays the game developer a few cents for every time the ad has been seen, but a few cents times millions of views every month, and the total revenue comes to millions or even tens of millions of dollars. There are smaller companies that make money only on in-game advertising. However, the big sharks learn to combine in-app purchases with in-app advertising to maximize their revenues. This mixed model is called a hybrid monetization model and has become a new standard in recent years. In the past, high-budget PC's console blockbusters often opted for the premium business model. The service model was more suitable for indie games, due to its ability to continuously develop and add content as it became profitable. But this has changed. For multiplayer games, in particular, the live service model is increasingly important to adopt. With a massive amount of competition, players desire games that are continuously renewed with additional content, paid or otherwise. Game developers sometimes change their business models. An example is Fortnite by Epic Games. In 2017, the studio released it as a premium version. However, Epic Games recognized the growing popularity of the Battle Royale genre and quickly adapted Fortnite to fit this trend. By transitioning to a free-to-play model and introducing their Battle Royale mode, Fortnite became more accessible to players worldwide. Its unique building mechanics, premium quality, and regular updates set it apart from other games in the genre. Thanks to strategic adaptations, innovative features, and effective marketing, Fortnite transformed from an underdog into a cultural phenomenon. The live service model is becoming increasingly attractive to the mobile gaming industry. Mobile games almost universally rely on in-game purchases. The paying user base can be as low as 3 to 6% depending on the genre. The challenge lies in ensuring that a smaller number of paying customers can support the game while also bringing in profit for the parent company. A well-functioning business model tailored to video game users can make its creators millionaires and billionaires. But what's next? How can game developers level up and dominate the market? The first strategy is mergers and acquisitions, or M&A. It has the potential to take a company into a new business segment and significantly increase profits. This development model is often feasible for heavyweights like Embracer Group, Playtika, and Stillfront. In 2020, the latter acquired the American studio Super Free Games, known for titles like Trivia Star and World Collect, as well as the German company Sandbox Interactive. Within 1 year of the deal, the company's stocks grew by 174%. The second path is to focus on developing successful franchises. This strategy is employed by companies like Bandai Namco, Sega Sammy, Nexon, Capcom, and many others. Franchises can be expanded within the game by developing sequels and spin-offs and expanding distribution. Additionally, companies can venture into new media. For example, Rovio has succeeded in this. Their Angry Birds franchise is everywhere, on Chips and Chocolates, a movie based on the game's story, and even an amusement park in Doha called Angry Birds World. The franchise brings in over 80% of Rovio's cash flow. Now, let's talk about strategy number 3, optimization. It's not the happiest move, but it gets results. Yes, we're talking about layoffs. Gaming companies employ highly paid specialists whose salaries amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Therefore, by laying off, for example, 100 specialists, the company can free up tens of millions of dollars per year, which can be used for growth and development. The fourth growth strategy involves focusing on current games with less emphasis on releasing new ones. This approach entails exploring new methods of monetization within the game, attracting new audiences, and more. Companies such as Krafton, Ubisoft, and EA adhere to this strategy. Finally, the fifth approach, which is the most challenging, is the new game pipeline. This strategy requires a complete focus on developing new products. In today's gaming scene, releasing a new blockbuster game is like sending a rocket to Mars. It's gotta be out of this world. Out of thousands of new games released, only a few become popular. One of the recent successful examples of launching a fundamentally new game was the release of Hogwarts Legacy in 2023, developed by Avalanche Software. The gaming industry is on a rocket ride to the top. Developers are already stacking billions, but there's still plenty of space for growth. So, why are the experts all on board with these upbeat forecasts? Firstly, there's a whole new crew of players coming in from places where gaming was once unheard of, like South America, Asia, and India. That's all thanks to the internet getting more accessible and smartphones spreading like wildfire. Secondly, the gaming audience is maturing. As generations raised on video games grow older, an increase in the number of players among the elderly segment is expected. The third reason is the world's population growth. By 2030, it is projected to increase by nearly 500 million. Based on these factors, it can be forecasted that by 2030, the number of video video game users will increase to half of the world's population. Again, half of the world's population will be playing video games. Perhaps it's hard to imagine a more compelling argument for the promising future of the video game market. Video game developers are already major players in the global market, and with the development of AI, AR, and VR, and other innovations, they are likely to play an even bigger role, and probably there will be new ways of monetizing gaming content soon. So stick with us for more stories from the wild world of gaming as big business. We'll keep you posted on industry news, gaming history, and all the latest from GDEV. Don't forget to hit subscribe, drop some suggestions on what you want to see in the next vids, and, of course, smash that like button.